You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Right, Chris.
I will be in a minute. Don't go away. Your call is very important to us. Here we all are. Good afternoon. I got it right. Good afternoon, good day, good morning, good evening, good night, goodbye. Hello. Welcome along in wherever you are in the world. Welcome along. Well, we were enjoying being promoted back to the Premier League. It lasted about 5 minutes, and then that lovely club down in part of London decided they wanted to pick our manager. They usually pick our players, don't they? Oh yeah, how's that going with Fofana? Has he played for you again yet? Thanks for the 60 million, by the way. But look, you know, I know Kate's not happy. We'll get to Dave in a minute, but let's start. Kate, good afternoon.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm very well. Dave, good afternoon to you as well, sir. Dave is on mute. Dave, there you go.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm good, thank you.
You say school back in the day with slates, you could only get up to 3. But Kate, you said before we came live, when you weren't talking golf, you were saying that you just wish you could have enjoyed the season a bit.
I know, we've not even had a minute, have we? It feels like it's not even the playoff final yet. The season's not technically finished in the Championship, and we've already got some gossip running the rumour mill, which isn't, it's not great really. It's gathered some pace this morning as well, which is probably why we're doing the show really. But it's frustrating, and this is just the start of it. I feel like player rumours will surface at some point, and yada yada yada. Back on the hamster wheel.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, somebody was saying the other day, and I said, like, oh, for God's sake, it's just one journalist, you know, nothing to do writing stories. And then a guy sent me a link and showed me it was John Percy at the Telegraph, which is quite a reliable source. But then it kind of got momentum. Sky Sports got hold of it, Fabrizio got hold of it, and suddenly it's like, oh shit.
Well, it's pretty clear. I mean, it's pretty immature writing for most of them. I mean, I'd have picked those 3, to be honest. You know, there's only one going to get it, isn't there? And Thomas Frank has probably got more experience in the Premier League than anybody, so my money's on him.
I mean, hey, I know it's frustrating, and we discussed this before we came live, but are Chelsea just doing to us what we do to other clubs? I mean, we moaned, and I moaned particularly about Mark McGee walking out on us to go to Wolves, but he'd walked out on Reading to come to us.
Yeah, you could argue that, because that's the manager merry-go-round and it never stops for anybody. But what I find just frustrating, although there's a lot of positives about being what you would call a feeder club, I guess, whether that be players or managers. I do find it frustrating that, particularly more so in the last decade, that we have excellent scouts that can pull a diamond out the rough in things like Riyad Mahrez, or even Enzo could be one of those people, Wesley Fofana. These are players that were looked at and declined by big clubs before they became a Premier League player. And I just get a bit frustrated sometimes that we do all the hard graft and take a punt on these people and obviously see something good in them to give them a go. And it's tough when they then go elsewhere. But such is life, I guess. It comes and goes with the territory, I guess.
It's nothing
they never
new,
learn, do they? They
Pardon?
never learn, these managers. They never learn. I see Paul's mentioned it. That sticks in my mind a lot. I mean, how did that work out for him? You know, he went from Torquay United to Leicester, took us up, and then went to Man United and it all went wrong. How many times has that happened with managers and players?
Yeah, and I think Chelsea only have something awful like a 16, 17-month average manager tenure, which has probably been dragged down a bit since Potter and Pochettino have been in. Potter's still taking his Chelsea paycheck. I don't
this
blame
is the thing, isn't it? I mean, I was watching an interview that Nigel Pearson, it was a podcast that he did with who's the guy that was sacked after one game as England manager?
Sam
Allardyce, that's it. On his podcast. And they were talking about when he went to Watford. And he basically didn't say it in so many words, but reading between the lines, he said, I knew what I was going into, but I'd got a nice check at the end of it. You know, because when you go to Watford, or if you go to Chelsea, or even Man United, you know that if it doesn't work out, because they're going to sign you on a 3-year, 4-year contract, and if they get rid of you after 1 year, Dave, you know you're going to get money from that.
Well, I remember you making comments about furthering your career in life, and it's normal practice for people to do it. But football isn't normal, is it? Football is different. It demands loyalty from players. Managers demand loyalty. So if they jump ship after a season, they've got no credibility. What's his contract? How long is his contract?
I think it was 3 years. It's got
3, yeah. So that's worth 90 million to us, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, he's got a buyout clause of 7.8 million, according to Fabrizio.
God, it's not much use, is it?
It's 7 million.
Something to offer another manager without breaching FFP, though.
Yes, it is.
Or maintaining the status quo. Sorry.
I know what you're saying, Dave. Totally, but Kate, let's look at Graham Potter at Brighton. His stock was very, very high. Brighton were doing really, really well. Let me turn that around and go to De Zerbi, right? When he came in, he was being talked about as the next big thing. He was doing really, really well at Brighton. They were doing, going for Europe, etc., etc. Now they're not. Same real point with Thomas Frank at Brentford. So if these managers don't move on when they're having a successful spell, those big job offers might not come round again. And like I say, if it doesn't work out, you still walk away with a nice big fat check.
Yeah, that is one argument. The other argument I would use is someone like Frank Lampard, who doesn't need cash because he would have made comfortably more as a player per week, massively more as a player. But he moved when everybody said that he shouldn't move to Chelsea because he was doing an amazing job at Derby. Moved, probably peaked too soon and moved, and now really hasn't had a job since. So,
but he's probably still living off the
living off it because he's had the money as a player, which would have been comfortably more. Frank Lampard is a multi-millionaire who actually made better money doing his old job, which was a footballer. Yeah. So for him, it's not about cash. He wanted to manage his cool club, his Chelsea. But he did it too early, and now he won't get looked at again because he's messed up his stock, which is exactly what's happened with Rooney as well. Rooney doesn't need cash. Are you joking? Well, he might do for his legal fees, but he doesn't need cash. But his stock is ruined because he's took the wrong jobs at the wrong time. And I think Enzo's just got to be careful here because from Chelsea's point of view as well, it's quite flabbergasting that Chelsea are interested in him because he hasn't managed Premier League football. De Zerbi has, so had Potter, but he's not managed a Premier League club, and he nearly messed it up with this. I love Enzo, but he did nearly mess it up.
Had Frank gone to any other club, though, Dave, he'd have probably wouldn't have been sacked. I mean, he got them into Europe, in a period when they couldn't go and buy players. So he's having to develop the youth squad and what have you. Had he done that at another club outside maybe the big six, they wouldn't have got rid of him. But if he'd have stayed at Derby, look where Derby are now, would Chelsea have then come in for him? And would he have missed his chance, like you say? Yes, he's not being looked at now, as Kate said. But if he stayed at Derby and Derby had got relegated, he wouldn't have been looked at either. Surely you have to grab these opportunities when they come.
Yeah, but he didn't do much at Everton, did he?
No,
I mean, he had a chance. He had a chance to resurrect it at Everton, and it was a disaster there. So, and then Chelsea took him back for a few 6 months or so, which is staggering. It's only because Chelsea got him back cheap and didn't need to pay any money out and compensate or anything like that. These guys are either good at their job or not. The good managers. Frank Lampard isn't one of them.
No,
you get lucky in football.
The point I'm making is that you have to grab, and it's the same with players as well. If you, let's say, look, you're a station manager at Surrey Hills Community Radio. If suddenly the BBC came into you, Dave, and said, right, we want you to be station manager for Radio 2.
I'll tell you fuck up.
Well, would you if they're offering you lots of money? I mean, all right, you're 70 now, or nearly 69.
No, I'm not 70.
69.
I hate the BBC for a start, so you chose the wrong station.
Oh, right, but you get honestly.
No,
the oracle of a radio show. Think of your oracle of a radio show that you would want to work for. Would you turn them down?
I would turn them down, yeah, because life's more than that. If I'd have wanted to do it,
would you have 40 years ago? Would you have turned it down when you had different priorities?
Well, no, when I had no commitments to other people. Yeah, I wouldn't have turned it down. Well, BBC I might, but nobody else. No, because I wasn't committed. Enzo's committed. It's the long haul. So he told us. We're here. We've got a plan. That's what they all say. But I just think that. I don't know what it is. It's just jumping on. Chelsea just do this. They jump on the bandwagon for everybody. I mean, poor old Ipswich fans. I mean, what's he be? If Chelsea don't get him, Man United might, or Brighton might. I mean, that'd be ironic, wouldn't it?
Well, I couldn't actually. I wouldn't moan at him if he went to Man United because that's the club he supported since he was a nipper and he's worked there. And that's his club. It's like when if O'Neill had left us to go to Everton or Leeds, who were both after him, that would have pissed me off. Going to Celtic, which was his boyhood club, I kind of didn't mind that. But again,
when Leeds were after him, that was his club. Don't forget that.
No,
yes, it was.
Book, no,
now forget his book. At the time, he said, "Leeds are my club. That's why I want to talk to them." I mean, Celtic, of course, because he's Irish.
In fairness, I'll give you that then because I don't remember that.
I was there at the time and I remember it happening, and that's what he said.
In his book, he was on about Celtic being the club when he grew up. So, but
yeah, I'm sure it was. It was.
I mean, Kate, look at Brendan Rodgers. When he was doing well with us, he was being linked with Man United, Barcelona, Chelsea, I think, possibly Spurs. At the end, we had to go back to Celtic.
Yeah, because he messed it up.
So what I'm saying is if you don't move when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, so my answer to that is if you don't move when a job offer comes along because your existing job is good enough and it's something that you want to finish the job of, or at least have a year in the Premier League with Leicester, then that is one decision. But with football, it's so different. It's not about changing jobs in our walk of life. With football, if Enzo says no today because it's too much of a risk or a jump for me, or you've got financial fair play issues, or apparently you're having a fire sale with players, then I think we can sure as hell know that if he has a good season with Leicester next year and Chelsea sack their manager next season, which I would presume is as certain as death and taxes, whatever manager comes, they'll get sacked next season, the opportunity will come again. Absolutely would come again in football, because it does. But I get why you perhaps wouldn't want to miss it and you're scared of taking that risk of declining an offer. But it's sure as hellfire will come around again quickly, because no clubs, apart from Man United of old, can keep hold of their managers. And
okay, let's say he stays.
I wouldn't argue with Kate on that one. She's doing a fist pumping.
I know. Well, that's what you think it is.
Well, I thought it was.
But let's then say that he stays.
Mm-hmm.
And in 12 months' time, we are where Burnley are now. I'm sure 50% of, not saying you guys, but 50% of the club will be saying he needs to be sacked. Should we get
Well, they're saying that now, some of them, aren't they?
Well,
some of the clowns.
That was going to be my next point, yes. So, a case of, again, that would then cost us, because we would have to pay him off if we sacked him.
Depends if they extend his contract, isn't it?
Sorry, say that again, Dave.
If they extend his contract, because he'll only have a year left on it if he's had a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but if he gets to the point, I can say, where we're in Burnley's shoes and then we sack him, that's going to cost us more money,
We won't sack him. We won't sack him. He'll go before we sack him.
No, we thought that about Rodgers. I thought that about Rodgers, but we did sack him in the end. Would it be, Kate? I mean, you made the point earlier, again, before we came live, that this is his first serious managerial job. He's managed a team from the Championship. The job before that, he did, 13 games or something? And whether the experts are saying he was doing well or he wasn't doing well, the guys that pay his wages didn't think he was doing well enough to keep him. So this is his first job. He hasn't. You said he's never managed in the Premier League at the main level, and it's a team that's in Europe. It's a hell of a risk for Chelsea. I mean, this guy's come over. Well, first of all, what do you think? What would you say on that point? Is it a risk for them?
It is a risk for them, but I suppose people would just throw Arteta in your face, wouldn't they? That he left Pep to go and have a really successful period now with Arsenal, and has kind of brought them up to the level again with Liverpool and Man City. But it's a big risk, and I don't think surely the luck and the rope has got to run out for Chelsea at some point, because exactly that reason. How many times are you going to keep sacking managers? You've got a financial fair play issue over your head, which we have as well. And you just have to be careful. Like we've just said and demonstrated, if you fall off the cliff at Chelsea, it's going to be very, very difficult to resurrect your career in the level that you might want to. Enzo's not got bags of cash from playing days because he wasn't that level of player.
No.
Like a Lampard, where you can just sit back on your millions and play a bit of golf, or like John Terry, who just makes a cameo appearance for 7 games and then goes back onto the golf course again. Like, Enzo is a career manager. He's really young. He's got enough appetite, and it's a calculated move. But I understand if they offer you money that transforms your life and your family's life. He's got 4 young children. It's a real decision to make, and it's a London lifestyle as well. And they've got all that going for them. But every single person I feel like we've let go to Chelsea has messed up. Even Chilwell, he's not made the England squad.
No, that's a good point.
The grass isn't hardly ever greener in football. I really mean that.
Dave, Mike says there, the thing is, Chelsea have 5 managers in 20 months. I believe I read what's saying they won't sack Enzo in 6 months. Enzo won't care, because if he goes there, signs a 3-4 year deal, and they do sack him in 6 months, he'll just walk away with his millions. As they look at Potter, technically, with what you walk away with from one of those clubs, you'd never have to work again.
You leave your pride behind, though, don't you?
That's what I'm saying. Enzo wants to be a manager for a career. He's not in it for cash.
No. And I, anybody could take that attitude. In fact, Chelsea fans take that attitude. When I said, why would Potter want to manage Chelsea? And they said, well, because he's on a winner and he'll walk away with loads of money.
Yeah, and he's only walking away with loads of money because he hasn't got a new job. The payments from Chelsea will cease to Potter as soon as he's re-employed. So I can't see Enzo taking a massive contract, being sacked, and then seeing 2.5 years out doing nothing, because they'll stop paying you when you start earning again.
He's not stupid. And Arsenal are a bit more patient, aren't they?
But these managers do go into it blind and thinking they're the ones that can make the difference. They'll break the mould. Chelsea is broken from the inside out, as is many clubs.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal are a little bit more patient. Also, Arteta would have been gone by now. In fact, a lot of fans were saying he should go. So fans were
gone in the first season, didn't they?
Yeah.
He lost the first 5 games on the bounce, didn't he?
And they've still not won the league.
Well, but again, for most teams coming second to Manchester City, Liverpool would have won more if it hadn't been for Manchester City. But let me ask you this, Dave. I don't know. I was thinking about this point. Chelsea are one of the main competitors to Manchester City. We know he's close with Pep. He worked with Pep. He left to go to Parma. That didn't work out. And then he came back to them and Pep took him back. Would he want to go up against Pep?
I don't think Chelsea are that good, Chris. I don't think they will be for a long time. I mean, they've done well to get in the top 6, is it? This time or 7. They're in some Mickey Mouse European trophy. So for them, that's just not acceptable. And I don't think they'll get there. Not while this guy's in charge anyway, the owner. They're a joke.
I was talking to Craig earlier. Now, Craig's back to work, so he can't get on. But what he said was, for my 2 pennies, I think he'd be stupid to go to a club that has lost a manager who was starting to show progress because he wants more control over player signings than the board would give him. Enzo wouldn't stand for that level of interference, surely. I reckon they'll end up with De Zerbi. Now, it's a good point, Kate. And when you look at Chelsea, we know Potter did not have any control really over who came in and who didn't and who went out. Pochettino, obviously, we think that's why he left, because he said, I want more control. And Bowley probably said no. And he said, right, I'll leave then. He said, accept it or leave. He goes, right, I'm leaving. Looking at how Enzo's been this last year, and I think you've said this, I don't think he's the sort of guy that would go and accept that.
No, I don't think he is either. If he gets so much autonomy at Leicester, I know we've got our own restrictions with FFP, and that's come with it this season, which he claims to have not known about. But I think anybody who did a decent amount of due diligence would have been able to find that out. But if you've not got any control over ultimately the personnel that you're going to play in this very specific system of Enzo's, then it's going to be a really tough uphill battle. And not only that, you're going to have far more prima donnas at that club to manage than you will have at Leicester. It's going to be a completely different dressing room. I don't know if you ever watched the interview with Jake Humphries on his podcast, with Danny Drinkwater, he kind of goes into that a bit about the Chelsea culture and how he was made to feel. And it was a world apart from what he'd experienced at Leicester. So you've just got to be careful, because like in any job, you can get paid a lot of money and you're more than enough money than what you need. It's all about the culture and how you feel and the control that you have in your job. And these football managers are big personalities themselves that want control and autonomy and want a good relationship with the boss. But Bowley doesn't look like he's that kind of flexible character to me.
No, Dave, I mean, you'll never be out of work as a football manager. There's not many jobs where you get sacked for being rubbish and then you walk into another job within a couple of weeks. But that's football for you. I suppose it is a case of ambition over money, isn't it, really? Because, like Kate was saying, stays at Leicester, builds up his reputation, could get maybe then a Barcelona job or something like that, which, no disrespect to Chelsea, is probably bigger than Chelsea, or Italy. And talking of Italy, we've got to say congratulations to Lookman, who won the Europa League final with Atlanta, beating Leverkusen and scoring a hat-trick. Well done, Lookman. Another one of those what-if moments. But I guess, Dave, it's down to the individual person, isn't it?
Yeah, there's arguments pro and against. I mean, Scott Parker's not been seen since, has he?
No.
Since he nearly got the Leicester job. And you do wonder, some of these players that aren't foreign, whether they'll actually get another job. If you have to be pretty exceptional if you're a British manager to keep moving around, because some of these guys that are coming back again, the ex-Wolves manager back at West Ham, he was sacked from Wolves, wasn't he? So I don't know.
It's just a merry-go-round, isn't it?
It's crazy, and it's not built on what you've achieved. It's built on whether you talk a good game and the fact that you're Italian or Spanish or whatever. That's the way it works.
Kate, Fabrizio said earlier, 6 hours ago, Enzo Maresca received approach by Seville in the recent weeks, but he didn't want to advance in talks. Maresca wants to focus on the Premier League. He wants to work in the Premier League football and stay in England. His release clause is £7 to £8 million. And if he was to stay at Leicester, let's hope he does, but if he was to stay at Leicester, and we were in Burnley's position this time, at the end of the season, because of his past or recent history of being with that Pep and at Man City, that would still stand him in good stead, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's got a lot to offer, but he's got to prove himself still. It's such a big risk. It's such a big risk. There's not a lot more to say to that. Like, we don't know what he's going to do in the Premier League. We don't know really what team we're going to have in the Premier League, and neither do Chelsea. There's going to be
Don't you think though he's not on a loser at all, Leicester, because we're going to get deducted points. We don't know what transfer money we've got, and if he keeps us up, he's a legend. That first season, if he keeps us up, that's a good job. And then we can worry about the next 2 or 3 seasons. But he's got nothing to lose.
It's a win for him, isn't it? Because if we go down, it was what was expected, But where if he goes to Chelsea and let's say he finishes with them mid-table, he's sacked.
Yeah, we'll be sacked before then, mate.
Well,
if they're not top of the table after 10 games or 12 games, they'll be serious questions
as well. It's not like you're following on from me being the manager. You're following on from Pochettino, who clashed heads, and I would feel that Enzo would probably have similar views to Pochettino.
I would hate to be the one that followed you, Kate.
But you look like a manager,
though. But I have no comment.
I mean, let me ask you one word answers. Kate, do you want him to stay?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Let's say he goes. Kate, we're going to get 7 to 8 million for him. Who would we then go for? I mean, I know a couple of people have said in the chat Pochettino. Pochettino's not going to come to Leicester. That's just, though he wouldn't come to Leicester when we were 4th and 5th in the Premier League. He ain't going to come to us now, and we can't afford him. Let's just say, with the PSR, whatever it is, PPI, whatever. I mean, does there be, or has he blown his shot again, or Potter? Would Potter come to us, or is he hanging on for England?
Potter won't come to us. We won't be able to pay him enough. It pays him at the minute to be off anyone's books apart from Chelsea's, because he'd have got paid a fortune.
I'd have Thomas Frank.
Expires. Yeah, Thomas Frank would be great, but I'm not sure he'll come. It depends what we could offer someone in terms of transfers and stuff. I don't know what the kitty looks like.
Well, Brentford don't have many transfer funds, and he doesn't get paid a lot of money there, I wouldn't think. So coming to Leicester would be a massive jump up for him, and a similar sort of club in a funny way. You know, community type club, twice the attendances, but you know, why not? Why not? That's a stage up for him, and he's a good guy, isn't he? You know, all the interviews you hear from him, he's a good guy.
Hi, Hester, how you doing?
That's who I'd want.
How's Madison doing? Came to you to win trophies. Oh,
he scored a goal in that friendly. God, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Can I say thanks for Harry Winks, by the way? He came to us to resurrect his career. Got a trophy. Look, I've known Hazel. Well, he's a good lad. He's a good lad. Welcome along, mate. Look forward to playing you next season. But managers don't change clubs on their own, though, do they? I mean, Pochettino, I can't understand him. Sorry, Dave, did you say who you wanted, by the way? Sorry.
I did, yeah. I want Thomas Frank.
Do you think he would leave it? He seems to be the one manager that has actually stayed loyal to his club. They don't seem in any particular, and they've had a bad season this season, having had a couple of decent seasons. But they're
probably going to lose Tony, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he'll go somewhere. Now, if we lose Enzo, then let's hope he comes to us. But he will go somewhere. I don't think he'll be at Brentford next year.
Mike says here, nobody has control at Chelsea, same as Spurs, Man United, and that's coming from a Man United fan. That's why manager, these three in particular, failed massively. I think his spelling's worse than mine. They want a yes man and no puppet. Tom Bowling, I said this to Craig earlier. The Americans come over with no idea how to run a British football club.
No. Can I just check something with you guys? I've just looked on the Sky Sports, and it's saying Chelsea expect to appoint a new head coach by the end of next week. That's all right. I thought it meant end of this week. So I'm assuming then.
The thing is, who has told them that? That's utter bullshit.
Well,
they're going on probability. Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to be this week because it's Thursday. Like, it's not exactly revolutionary, is it? It's not a big revelation that it's probably going to be sorted by next week. Do you know what? By the 5th of July, we might have a new Prime Minister. You heard it here first. Like, it's ridiculous.
God help us.
That's Sky Sports.
The interesting thing here, though, is Burnley. It just says here on Sky, Burnley value Vincent Kompany at 17 million amid interest from Bayern Munich. Well, how come they can value him at 17 million and we've agreed a £7-8 million clause with Enzo?
Is he going to do player manager? He's probably got still some money in his legs.
Luke's here. Luke, under the thumb.
You made it.
Under the thumb, mate. Excuse me, mate. Do you mind if I go on? No, all right, I won't do. Love you, Luke. I love you.
It'll be fine, Luke. Don't you worry about it.
Armchair jockey. He wanted 2 players in January. Was told no. He's a bit pissed off at that, isn't he? Let's be honest with you. But is it going to be any better at Chelsea, Dave? Because probably they'll never get charged, will they?
No, probably not. But no, it's not going to be any better because he won't be able to buy anybody. They've got about 50 players as it is, haven't they? So he's not going to be able to buy any of his own unless he gets lot out, which is what Poch wanted to do. He wanted to turn it all round, which is probably another reason that he fell out with the board. Because did I see somewhere they had a 2-hour board meeting and at the end of it decided to go their separate ways? Although one report said they sacked him. So I guess it was on the basis if you can't do it our ways, take a hike.
Giovanno said, believe me, even if Maresca stays with us, he won't last long. He's got nothing to go after we finished 1 point above Ipswich. Second half of the season went well. I am worried. Kate, let's ask the question, would he be that big a loss?
Yeah, I think he would. I think he's put quite a lot of the hard graft in. He's really brought some players on. I'm not saying at all that we can't replace him, because nobody's irreplaceable, particularly with Leicester. Like, we seem to be really good at appointing managers, really. So if he goes, he goes. I can't get stressed about it because it's completely out of my control. I get frustrated because if he wants a career in management, a career and a project and something to say, yeah, I did that, then Chelsea is not the place to go. You've got more chance at Torquay. I know they're going bust, but you've got more chance of a project in loads of other places than Chelsea. Chelsea is not the place to go.
Lovely this time of year, though, isn't it, Torquay?
Yeah, lovely.
Do you think? I mean, what's he called at Torquay, though, isn't he? The Sheffield United guy that went to Aberdeen, and Neil Warnock. Isn't he supposed to be something at Torquay?
Oh yeah.
No. Is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's behind the scenes somewhere.
Yeah.
Mike will tell us. Mike, I can see you in. I'll bring you in a couple of seconds, mate.
That I doubt.
Dave, I mean, looking at last season, yes, we started well. And yes, he did say, look, this isn't going to last, blah, blah, blah. Would we be trying to hold on to him? Let's say he'd got us through to the playoff finals. We're going to enjoy those this weekend, not being in them, aren't we? But let's say he'd done that, then we'd lost to Leeds or Southampton. Would we be as keen to be trying to hold on to him?
Well, personally, yeah. I mean, don't forget, he still only had a season. I mean, the idea was we get back up in a couple of years. He's done it in one. So I think he's done everything he was asked to do. Okay, he did tell us from the 10th game onwards there's going to be hiccups. We're not going to win every game. We're going to have problems. We're going to struggle at times. It's a long season. He told us all that. And it happened. And when it happened, we were all shock horror.
Yeah.
But he knew it. And he said it. But he got us up as champions.
I think as well, when Enzo came to us, we were a team on the decline because we'd just been relegated. We didn't know which players were going to go. And as an outsider looking in, when you don't know a lot about Leicester City, losing Yuri, Maddison and Barnes would have been catastrophic for clubs. But we knew what we got going on in the background, and we had some loan money to play with and some transfer fees. But Leicester's stock's now higher this summer than it was last summer, much higher. And I think the bottom 10 clubs in the Premier League next year, which is a surefire sign that the Premier League is deteriorating, the bottom 10 clubs next year will be in a relegation battle. Yeah.
Oops, that went wrong.
Hello.
There we go. Kate, I'm just looking at the time. I know you are on your lunch. She is a working girl, is our Kate.
Hey.
Don't say that too loud. Bloody hell.
Yeah, and mother's listening.
I know.
Hello, Mrs. Blakey.
Oh, she'll be a glass of wine by now.
Okay,
Don was missing her dick last Monday.
No, he left me high and dry.
You did. Kate, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I know you're on your lunch and what have you, so I'll let you go. Thank you so very much. I'll see you Monday.
See you on Monday. Enjoy the playoffs, guys. See you later.
We will.
Bye-bye. Right, let me see if I can get this right. This no, I can't. You see, hang on.
What's going on there?
There we go. Mike, hello, Mike. This is Dave. Dave, I don't think you met Mike.
You all right, mate?
You would have remembered him.
Yes.
Look, Matt, I mean, you're a Man United fan.
Yeah.
Changing managers isn't the cure to it all, is it?
Absolutely not. Changing managers every 2-3 seasons, sometimes even shorter, just offers no progress because one manager could come in with a specific style of play, identity. The players start to get used to it. The coaches start to implement that into training sessions and stuff like that, and into their tactical meetings and stuff, whatever they're called. But then as soon as you get rid of that manager, a whole new manager and a whole new backroom staff has to come in. They have to implement their style of play. And then those players that you've already got in the club may not be able to play the previous manager's style of play. And then if it happens again, you've then got a situation where you've got 3 different types of players from 3 different managers all trying to work the new system. It just, look, there's no reason why Chelsea should have got rid of Tuchel in the first place, which I mentioned earlier. He just won them the Champions League. Okay, I think he was like 6th or 7th when they sacked him. Who cares? You know, Chelsea are not Manchester City. Chelsea are not a team that have a divine right. Man United, to an extent as well, don't have a divine right to be top of the Premier League. There's a reason Man City are top, which we won't mention. But if Pep Guardiola, for example, mid-match was 6th, 20 points off the title, Man City would probably still stick with him because they know he would fight every single minute to get those players rattled, to get them, and knowing Man City somehow, by some stretch or another, they would probably turn that points gap around and probably still end up winning the Premiership. So managers switching around doesn't solve it. It really doesn't. You need to get rid of the bad eggs before you get rid of the manager. And I know everyone says the book ends and closes with the manager. I really disagree with that personally.
Not nowadays, it doesn't.
Yeah, it should do, but it doesn't. I mean, Dave, just looking at Chelsea want to speak to Maresca. That's no guarantee that he's going to go, of course. But as Mike said there, it's almost like ripping the book up and starting again, isn't it?
Well, for us,
yeah,
totally, yeah. Because I don't think we'll play that way again. Although every club seems to be doing it, no matter what division they're in. So maybe that's the way it works now. I mean, I did see a comment where they want to play possession football. Good luck with that. Can you imagine them doing that against teams like Man City, a proper Man United? And
that's not happening for a long time, Dave.
No, it's not, is it? I'm just trying to think what other big clubs are in that division, but I can't think of anybody else. Nah, they win nothing. So, you know, he's not going to win a trophy the first year or second year. So what will happen then? He'll get sacked. He won't. I'd be surprised if he lasts 2 years. I mean, if he does go, I hope I'm wrong because we owe him. You know, I mean, he's done us a great service even over a season. But and we all had our doubts at certain times. So we, you know, and he didn't, and he was right. Not the sort of football we used to at Leicester, but hey, we got promoted. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of managers around who could be. I mean, Man United surely will change managers. Surely. I can't see that. No, I know you wouldn't, but Man United surely will.
They will. Well, they've already said Di Marzio came out yesterday. I don't really rate Di Marzio as a source because I think he's a plonker, but he said that Ten Hag, Man United will be saying goodbye to Ten Hag in the summer. So
give him his right name here, 2.5 Hog. The thing is, I mean, for some clubs, I mean, look at the way Chelsea have done things and the way Watford do things. I mean, Watford have got Italian owners, and that's how they do it in Italy. They change the manager on a regular basis, and Watford do it. Didn't really work for them. But Chelsea, let's be honest with you, it did. But they've got the money to sort of splash out every time that they change the manager. But it's not going to. I mean, Man United have got to be, and sorry, Mike, but Man United have got to be the example of doesn't help keep changing your manager because you've not had bad managers. You've had Van Gaal. Now, whether you liked him or loathed him, he was an ex-international manager.
And he's again now with the Netherlands.
Yes, yeah. So you've had some real, and like Ten Hag when he came in. You've got some big names come in, but sometimes it's not. Like I say, it's down to the club. Who do you think from the outside? Look, the lining up here with Chelsea. You've got it looks like De Zerbi and Enzo are the two main ones. Who do you think is the better fit for Chelsea?
What, me or Dave?
You, sorry, Mike. Yeah. You obviously, we've not been in the Premier League for a season.
Is a difficult one because Enzo obviously has got his credit due to this season, and obviously the I don't know how long he spent under Pep, but we've seen that Arteta has sort of got away from being Pep's second man to having his own stock as his own person rather than being someone else's number two. But I kind of think the link between Brighton and Chelsea that they've had over recent times with Cucurella going there, Caicedo as players, Potter went there. There's a link there between Chelsea and Brighton that is, well, I would say quite strong. Brighton are probably buzzing that Chelsea keep buying all their crap players off them for 50, 60 million a time. Yeah. So I actually think, I'm not saying this because I want you guys to stick with Enzo and I want him to stay at Leicester, but I actually think De Zerbi probably suits them better. And probably if De Zerbi does go, I think the difference between De Zerbi and Enzo is if De Zerbi goes there and gets sacked, De Zerbi's already got the credit for what he's done at Brighton in the Premier League, where if Enzo goes...
What has he done at Brighton in the Premier League?
Well, I'd argue he's got them into Europe.
Europe, yeah.
Yeah, but that was on the back of Potter's team, wasn't it?
Look, it's a difficult one. I don't think Enzo should leave something that he's built up, because I think what he's built up is more in a right direction than what De Zerbi's built up. Because where can De Zerbi go from, top 7? He's not going to break the top 4. So there's not much of a higher ceiling for De Zerbi to go. Where Enzo, he's got promoted now. The next step could be stay in the league. Then the next job could be mid-table. Maresca's got more of a stepping stone to success at Leicester than what probably De Zerbi has at Brighton. So I think De Zerbi suits Chelsea better. He suits Brighton, yeah, of course he does. I think De Zerbi suits Chelsea more than what Enzo does, but I think they may go for Enzo over the two.
I think he's got I don't know. Time will tell. Dave, Paul says there, at the end of the European Championship, Southgate will leave the England job. Apparently, that's what's going to be happening. His contract's up. Southgate could be a candidate for the Leicester City job. No fucking way.
I said that about Pochettino for you guys. Do not go near Pochettino, Lampard. These managers have constantly failed, but because of their name, they keep getting jobs.
The only thing is, Dave, I'll come back to you with this one. The only thing is that we were linked with Jesse Marsh at one point, but after the owners found out the fans' feelings, they kind of backed off him. So
he's the Canada manager now. I didn't realise till the other week.
Yes, he is. He is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got the Canadian manager job, so he'll be at the World Cup possibly. But yeah, look, Dave. God. If he goes, I mean, I know. I was trying to say Luke's having eggs, and I don't know why. Managers come and go. He's got RIP Leicester if Enzo leaves. Really, Luke? I think it's kind of. Let's be honest with you. He's not Alex Ferguson. He's not Pep Guardiola. He got us promoted by 1 point. Don't want to see him go, Dave, but if he goes, he goes. We move on, don't we?
Well, we have to. We're bigger than he is. And, as every club's supporters are bigger than the manager, they can come and go anytime they want, but we'll still be there I won't be, but in 50 years' time. So, no. It'll be sad. It'll be a shame. But I feel more sorry for him going to Chelsea than I would for us. I mean, I've just noticed as well, talking about Man United, that Pochettino's really interested in that job. So
you can take that interest where the sun don't shine.
Well, also just adding that, Mike, McKenna. No, McKenna. You see, McKenna's been linked with 3 jobs here, according to Sky: Chelsea, Brighton, and Man United. I don't get that Brighton is a bigger job for him than Ipswich Town is.
Not just that. Brighton have been rejected by Vincent Kompany and potentially McKenna as well now, so they're going to be clinging on to. Well, they can't. De Zerbi's gone, so Brighton
McKenna
could be
going to Man United, I can understand because it's his boyhood club, isn't it? And he's worked there before. And
Well,
so,
he's got a good reference, doesn't he, from Alex Ferguson? So, I mean, that always helps. Mind you, so did David Moyes.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
But David
you
Moyes,
talk about
we all know David Moyes was not given enough time, was he?
no.
You know.
I mean, you think about it, but then you think,
Too
well,
much.
yeah, we all know that Ferguson should have been sacked very early on if it hadn't been for Mark Robbins. And, you know, you think, well,
wasn't it? 1986
just
should have got sacked, or 85.
It was an FA Cup game, wasn't it? And Mark Robbins got the draw that took them back on the replay or something.
So, and then they didn't look back. So that's why clubs, you're right, it's a lot of it's American owners and or foreign owners who don't understand or care about loyalty. And if a manager goes, they get all upset and they sack him with a thank you very much for what you've done for the club. Well, obviously you've not done enough. I should still be here. So it's all a load of bollocks, really, to be honest. And I think all these names being thrown about. I mean, there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names being thrown in for Chelsea. Who's invented them? I haven't even heard a couple of them. So, you know,
can I say going back a while, and I can't remember. I think it was when Pearson went, and everybody and the dog was getting. Every time you woke up in the day after whatever you were doing, there would be another favourite for the Leicester job. And I went on to Photoshop and I took one of the betting pages, took a copy of a screenshot, and something like 25-1, whoever was down there, I got rid of their name and put my name in. And then everyone was going, who's this foreign? Never heard of. What's he been up? You know, where's he been? What's he won? And it's just that just showed me how silly it all is, to be honest with you. But
also with Pearson, I remember many times Pearson out, you know, on Facebook, and so many times. And then that's when we were bottom of the Premier League, you know, first season back. And then, of course, when it went all right, everybody loved him and was, you know, oh, don't sack him and all this nonsense. But yeah, it's just, we're all very weird people, aren't we? Football fans.
Very fickle. If you look up football fans in the dictionary, it says fickle next to them. Look,
there's a lot of changes. A lot of changes going to happen next month or so.
And it's up in the air. We knew this was going to happen. As soon as you get promoted, this will be the first of it. And I've got to say, mate, you're doing a good job on Facebook. I am just deleting. I'm not authorizing anything that doesn't come from a recognized source. So if it's soccerworld.com, just delete them. Just don't allow them because there's so many rumors. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, he'll be linked with everybody and his dog. You know,
he'll go with Enzo to Chelsea. Yeah,
it is the silly season. The only good thing, Mike, is if it is going to happen, at least it's happening now, and it gives us the whole of the summer to sort of get somebody in early and let them get the team. But the owners have really got to go for somebody that plays the same style. Otherwise, you're just wasting a season, aren't you?
Yeah, I think if I was the ownership of Leicester right now, I know nothing with Enzo is concrete, and you know whether you want to believe these people that you know have put it out that Enzo is linked to Chelsea because there's quite a few linked there. I think Leicester should be just keeping a close, you know, ear to the ground of what managers, you know, would be available in the summer just in case, because you don't want to get to 2-3 weeks down the line, Enzo's announced at Chelsea, and you're in mid-June and you haven't got an idea of who you're going to go for. And then you've got 2 weeks to try and find a manager. Then you've got time to try and get that manager to, identify a style of football, then identify players that suit that style of football. So I think Leicester, as much as Leicester fans probably don't want to hear it, Leicester probably are always looking at replacements for Enzo just in case.
Yeah, I think you have to.
You always have to, I think.
But Dave, if we do, and obviously we are going to be, like you said, any football manager worth the weight, football club worth the weight in gold is almost always doing that, you know.
Yeah.
We should really be looking at managers that are in maybe the Championship or the lower end of the Premier League, not managers that are out of work.
No, certainly not. But there's so many of them, though, aren't there? Who's going to fit the style? I think, did Luke mention that about a style of play? Whoever's going to buy into that anymore, because that will have to change. Or you said it earlier, completely yet again.
Well, it is, but then, as you said, a lot of clubs are actually playing that way anyway.
Well, it seems that way. Yeah, it seems it. But you spend a season the way Leicester have had, up and down like that, you become a close-knit society, if you like, a family. And that's what we've always prided ourselves on at Leicester, that it is a family. And I don't think Enzo will do anything to break it up. I really don't.
Liam Rossini of Hull would be a good choice.
Well, he was better manager of the season almost, wasn't he?
Almost.
Getting Hull outside the playoffs.
Yeah, Diavano said some people. You see, he fell out again with the owner at Hull. And in fairness, he wanted to do it one way, the Hull owner, and it's his club, so he's allowed to. Anyway, they fell out. So, do we want a manager that's going to make waves? Diavano says some people think that Maresca is the reason we won the championship. Don't forget, we had a very bad result in the second half of the season. We did, but if we hadn't had the good result in the first half of the season under Maresca, and because of Maresca, we wouldn't have gone up. Just remember that. Dave, last question. Brendan back? Well, welcome to Animal World. The pigs just walked in.
You don't want an answer to that. I get a Man United. Yeah.
No.
I didn't realise that Man United, who your assistant manager is, or certainly on the coaching staff.
Oh yeah, he's assistant. No, you
McLaren.
mean?
No, Mike Phelan.
McLaren, coffee cup man, ex-England manager.
Wally with the brolly. Or was that Rishi? Oh no, he didn't have a brolly, did he?
No, I certainly wouldn't. I'd want a young manager if we're going to get somebody. Or Thomas Frank. He'll come to Leicester from Brentford. Brentford's falling apart.
Sometimes a manager will look at it and go, "I've taken this team as far as I can take them."
Would you look at David Moyes? Would you have a look at David Moyes as a potential option? No,
I would.
Would you? No, I wouldn't. West Ham reckon boring football.
West Ham have got too big for their boots recently. I think. I know it's the style of football, but he's got them. He's won them a European trophy, top 10 finishes since he's been there. That club was in turmoil under the previous managers. Like, I don't see what I agree with you, Chris. I don't see what Moyes has done wrong, and this new manager is going to make them worse.
He's done nothing wrong at West Ham.
They're finished 9th this season on 52 points, or 10 points shy of. Well, I don't know if Newcastle are in Europe or not, in 7th, but so they're in 9th. They've won 14, lost 14. Okay, but like you say, got them to he took it a stage further than Brendan took us, because he took them to the final and won the damn thing. I don't think he's done much wrong at West Ham, but like you say, at some point, and Leicester fans were the same. We should have, it wasn't a case of we did well to get 5th. We should never have dropped out the Champions League places. You're never going to please everybody, and sometimes the fans talk, and I think they did there. Mate, Mike, good luck tomorrow. No, I lie. I tell a lie. Good luck on Saturday in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
I said this to Maisie the other day, and I can't believe I'm saying this. If you dare clip this, I will sue you. I do hope you win, because I just want some. I don't want Man City to win it again.
They'll find a way of getting a 90th minute penalty. We all know it. They'll find some way of getting a dubious handball or something like
Man United ever did under Fergie.
Oh yeah, sure. Ouch! Right into that one.
Oh, sorry, mate. You just scored the biggest own goal going.
Yeah. But at least we done it legally. We didn't break all these rules
without VAR.
Yeah. Fergie used to nip into the ref's room at half time when he wasn't looking and put his clock back.
No wonder why we beat Tottenham that year when I think it was like 3-1 and we beat them 5-3. Must have said, come on, mate, a couple of decisions.
Yes.
I don't think they used VAR up there, do they? Not when Leicester went, anyway. I don't think they had VAR plugged in.
You never got a penalty at Old Trafford if you weren't Manchester United, were you?
No, never.
As Wayne says here, Manchester United to win, not Man City.
Yes, Wayne.
I think you're going to find for the first time in many, many years the neutrals are on your side, Mike.
For once.
I used to love Man United. I really did. The Charlton Law best era. It was a joy to watch them. No, I did. They looked great, brilliant. I went to Wembley in '68. See them against Benfica. What a night that was. With my blue and white scarf. My blue and white scarf I took with me. There you go.
You could get away with it in them days, guys.
These days. They'd probably think you're a City fan.
Well, no, they were playing in blue that night, so Man United.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So we don't know sky blue. That's too near Coventry. Oh, guys, thank you very, very much both for coming on.
Nice to meet you.
And you too. You'll probably meet each other. Dave, I'll see you Monday night.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got a special going on because it's bank holiday.
Too much, too young.
Yes, apparently, allegedly. And Mike, like I say, good luck, mate, on Saturday.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get.
Cheers, Mike.
We'll speak soon. Take care, guys.
Cheers. Bye. Bye. See you later, Dave. Bye.
See you, Mike. Cheers, mate.
Thanks to both of them there for popping on, and of course to Kate earlier. Paul, thank you very much. Appreciate those kind words, sir. Dave is off to do the radio. I think he's doing the radio tonight. I'm not sure. No, I think he does it every other week. But thank you very much. Hope my sound was okay. I'm using a kind of different mic today. Not the mic that's just been on, by the way. I'm back tonight, 8 o'clock. I'll be in conversation with John Sinclair, the Newcastle fan, John Sinclair TV. Do check us out, 8 o'clock live here on this channel. It's a shared show. Be nice to talking Premier League again. I'm sure Enzo will come up during that conversation as well. Then we're back for the playoff final, 1:45 on Sunday. All I will say is, come on, Southampton. And then back Monday night. They don't know yet. There's going to be a quiz. There's going to be a quiz on Monday night. It's a football quiz, but knowing much about football won't actually help you. I'll leave that with you. But thanks very much. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending me your ears. Please do smash the like, subscribe if you're new. And if you're watching this on catch up, let us know what you think in the comments below. It is appreciated. It's all free, no charge for anything. I will say we'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight. Take care and don't go, Enzo.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.